So let's start with the first fixture of the weekend, which is tonight, Friday night, and that's Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal go into this game having snatched a late draw at home to Palace, so probably a little bit buoyed by that actually. They've had a bit of a wobble recently again. They had 3 good results, 3 wins, back-to-back wins, and then drawn the last 2. Away at Brighton and then home to Palace, obviously the one that they snatched the result in. Villa as well also had a wobble, had 2 good wins, a win at Old Trafford, lost the last couple very narrowly. They lost to Tottenham by 1 goal, and then also the game that they'll probably not want me to mention, which was last weekend, the West Midlands derby, where they were 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go, and Wolves came back and won the game 3-0, 2-3. So, 3 goals in 10 minutes. I don't think anyone's going to be happy with that as a fan, especially in a derby as well. But they'll have to pick themselves up. They'll have to go to Arsenal. Arsenal are probably favourites of this game, to be honest, just because of Villa's recent form. Arsenal are also starting to put a few results together at the moment, albeit the last 2 being draws. They didn't look great in those games. But they're at home, and I quite fancy them to win that game. Moving on to Chelsea versus Norwich. Don't think anyone's going to say anything that different to what I'm going to say here. That's definitely Chelsea's game. Really, a few diehard Norwich fans may think they've got a chance. They've had 2 draws in the last 2 games. Couldn't finish against Brighton, to be honest, and had the chance to win the game. Quite a few times actually, missed an open net at one point with a very weak shot, which could have won it. Brighton team going well as well, but Brighton are starting to sort of like fall away a little bit, I think, with the lack of firepower up front that they suffered from last season and starting to suffer again from this season. But yeah, Norwich, Chelsea, it's got to be Chelsea, isn't it? Let's face it, they're just too strong. It's top versus bottom as well. Chelsea have only dropped points in 2 games. So moving on to Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. Obviously everyone's focus again is going to be on Newcastle in this game after the big deal for the club and the new owners. They've just sacked Bruce as a manager, which may lift the players yet again. I think people were starting to get he was starting to lose the dressing room a bit, Bruce. And I think, they've had that lift last week, but it didn't really produce anything at the end of the day, apart from an exceptionally brilliant start to the game, 2 minutes, where it was all go, and it was like, straight into Tottenham, which is what they had to do, but they couldn't continue that for the whole 90 minutes. Maybe without Bruce there, they can have that another lift against Palace. Palace are going well under Patrick Vieira, been very impressed with what I've seen so far. It's not easy coming into. He's not got a massive amount of experience, let's face it. But it's not easy coming into a club where we had Hodgson there last season, for the last few seasons actually. Sort of like a very stable manager, if you like, to come in with a new brush basically. I think Vieira's coming with completely change of style of football, and I think Palace are doing really well. They've had a few good results, notably the one against Tottenham where they won 3-0. Just the one win, which they won't be happy about, but they keep it in games. They're staying in games. Only been beaten twice this season. I think they're going quite well actually. I think the league table position belies their performances, I think. But yeah, on that game, I think Palace are going to win. Sorry, of what I should say. I think Newcastle is the same team. I think Palace are going in the right direction. Newcastle will be going in the right direction, but they still haven't quite sorted that out yet. On to Everton versus Watford. Again, a club like Watford, I think are a bit in crisis at the moment. They sacked the manager, I think, a bit too early in the season. They've just been hammered 5-0 at home by Liverpool. All right, albeit a very good Liverpool team. Don't get me wrong, but I think, that is a stuffing and a half. First game in charge for Ranieri. He's got to pick his players up after that. All right, he's not had much time with them because it was after the international break. But he's got to pick his players up and try and put in a performance here against Everton, who are a team going quite strong. I watched the game against West Ham actually. It was a dire game. There was not a lot of quality in it whatsoever, and West Ham just kind of fought a little bit better towards the end and got the goal. But Everton will be disappointed with that result because they've been going quite well up until that point. And also some good performances as well. And this wasn't one of them. They're at home again, but they're playing lesser opposition this time. And I think Everton are going to be too strong for Watford. And I think that's going to be an Everton win, to be honest. Next fixture on the list is Leeds United versus Wolves. Wolves have come good all of a sudden. They've really got it together. They've got some good wins there together. Obviously, last time out, coming from 2-0 down and scoring 3 in the last 10 minutes to win the derby, the West Midlands derby. I thought that was an exceptional performance, and they're climbing up the table. Three wins can get you anywhere at this stage of the season, and it has them. They've really climbed up the table. Starting to get their act together a bit, actually. Starting to play a little bit better football. Certainly they played well against Spurs, actually, earlier on in the season and deserved something from that game, but didn't get anything out of it. But now the results are following the performances. They're going well. Leeds still struggling a little bit to find the form of last season and the promotion season as well, I guess. Where, they really had some good flowing football. Just not quite finding that spark, and they are conceding a lot of goals at the moment. But they are at home, so in terms of predicting the result, as we always try to do, I guess I would probably suggest this would be a draw. Actually, I think Leeds have still got enough about them. They've got Phillips coming back as well from injury, and Wolves. They got. It's not lucky because they did deserve to get the result against Villa. We're scoring 3 goals, but it's to be 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go. If you could do that against too many oppositions, you're not going to be getting the wins. So I fancy that as a draw. Actually, I think Leeds can score. I think Wolves can score, but it'll be even Stevens at the end. Next on the list is Southampton versus Burnley. Southampton team who've done made quite a lot of draws this season, become the draw specialists, if you like, but won last time out against Leeds. So, we were saying that they may be due a win. They got it against Leeds. They're at home again here against Burnley, another team who really struggling this season, as are Leeds, really. The 4th bottom Leeds and 3rd bottom Burnley. So, Burnley have put in some decent performances, though. They had a good go at Leicester. They had a good go at City last time out, actually, as well. That result, the result of that fixture had been 5-0. The previous 4 occasions, I think, they played at the Etihad, and they kept it down to 2. And they had some chances in that game as well. So maybe Burnley are turning a corner a bit, find a bit of confidence again, maybe in the performances. They'll certainly take a lot out of that City game. And they're going playing Southampton, who are the draw specialists. So I'm going to say draw. I'm going to think it's a draw. I think, Burnley are going to get some points out of that game. And good luck to them to do that. So going on to the next on the list is Brighton versus Manchester City. Now I said we just did our bets. The big game of the weekend is Man United Liverpool. Actually, on paper, this is the big game of the weekend because this is 3rd versus 4th. And, Brighton have been going very well this season. Some excellent results. Played very well against Arsenal without beating them. Didn't play very well last time out against Norwich, it must be said, actually. But I think they really are lacking an attacking force at the moment. They get into the right positions, but then they just don't find the cutting edge to finish. And City, ever dominant in possession, still passing the ball around exceptionally well, creating chances. Not so many clean cut ones as you would expect, but maybe that's the fact that they've not got an out and out number 9. They're playing a false 9 still, but they are very strong. City, Brighton probably wouldn't want to play them at the moment because they're just having a little bit of a wobble at the moment. Brighton. 3 draws, back-to-back draws. I think City are going to win out winners. I think they're going to run out winners here. It was quite edgy. Maybe a draw, but I think City will probably win it. Next on the list, I've got Brentford versus Leicester. Everyone's aware of what Brentford have been doing this season. It's been an exceptional start for them to the season. Brilliant football, which was exemplified in the game against Chelsea, where they really played well against Chelsea. Chelsea are going strong this season, top of the league, obviously. I think Brentford had 7 shots on target to Chelsea's 1. Chelsea's 1 was the goal, unfortunately for Brentford. Brentford hit the post twice in that game. They're really playing some good football, and they're going to worry a lot of teams. Leicester go there with actually having a little bit of form at the moment. They started really poorly to the season. Beating Man United 4-2 last time out as well, but also playing in midweek. They had a long game against Spartak Moscow in midweek where they were 4-2 up in that game, went back to 4-3 actually, and they had to shut it out for the remaining minutes of the game. They've been away and then played away. So, you look at this fixture, and Brentford have got an advantage there because they've not played midweek. A bit fresher. Leicester have played in Moscow, albeit I think that was on Wednesday night actually, or Tuesday actually, maybe even Tuesday. I think I might fancy Brentford for this. Actually, I think Brentford might win this one. And just on the style of football they've been playing, although Leicester have a very similar style of football, they're in people's faces. They don't let them settle on the ball, and they've got some goal scorers in the team as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good game to watch. That a really good game to watch. Hopefully they don't cancel each other out. Next, moving on to West Ham versus Tottenham, London derby, obviously. 2 teams probably doing what was expected of them this season, but Tottenham haven't been done it in the way that we anticipated. Started really strong with 3 1-0s, but weren't playing particularly well. Then had 3 defeats, crisis, and then have had back-to-back wins. So they've had a bit of a funny season really. They have won 5 and lost 3, draw no games. It's funny for them at the moment. Just funny for the fans in terms, well, not in half funny, to see the team being that yo-yo. They lost yesterday actually to Vitesse in the Netherlands, and again it just shows that maybe they're not quite the team that the results are saying here. There are some underlying problems within that squad, and they're coming up against West Ham, who are very strong at the moment, and they had an excellent result last night. They won 3-0 against Genk, and they're going strong. They won the last game out as well. They've lost a few in there. They were unlucky to lose to Manchester United. They're really competing this year, West Ham. I really like the way they're playing football, and they could end up definitely in Europe again next year on their performances so far. So going to the last fixture of the weekend, Manchester United versus Liverpool. As I said before, the Brighton versus Manchester City on paper is the big game of the weekend. It's 3rd versus 4th, but this one traditionally, everyone knows it's a big game. Massive rivalry between these clubs. Liverpool successful in the 70s and 80s, Manchester United successful in the 90s and noughties. There's always been that massive rivalry ever since really the dominance of those clubs in those 2 eras. Hopefully a great game to watch. But these 2 teams, they've had a massive midweek game. 3-2, both of them both of them winning 3-2, and exhausting for them. Liverpool were 2-0 up. They were pegged back to 2-2, and then eventually got a penalty to win in the game. Had also the emotion of a penalty given against them, but then which VAR turned over. They'll probably be on a high from that game because it's an excellent result in Atletico. The crowd was amazing. Unbelievable amount of noise it generated. It was more like a battle than a game of football. It was awesome. Great game to watch actually. Really good game to watch. If you didn't get the chance, it's a really good one. But I think that might have taken a bit out of the players. But then again, Manchester United, again they had the same where they Liverpool had a day extra rest actually than United. But yeah, they 2-0 down at home and eventually ran out 3-2 winners. Ronaldo with the winner, typical header goal from Ronaldo. But yeah, because they've had such a sort of heavy week basically in terms of emotional drain of those games and the physicality of them as well, I've got a feeling this might cancel out this game. Liverpool on paper should win this. They really should. They've been playing the best football out of the 2 teams without a doubt. But I just think, a little bit of exhaustion from midweek may just flatten this game a little bit. And I hope I'm completely proved wrong and it's like a 5-all or something like that. But good luck to both teams, I guess. But these are now City's biggest rivals. Manchester United traditionally from the derby, and Liverpool recent fixtures against them. Obviously, Champions League, competing for league titles. I'll be quite happy with the draw. Thank you very much. So that's it. That's all the fixtures I've covered. You can go and look at which team. I've segmented it up this time, so you can just go and look for your team if you just want to hear what I've got to say about your team. That's it. I'm done for the Premier League weekend this weekend. And we'll see you next week for the Premier League review.